my name is Jayla, and today I'm going to share with you one of my family's all-time, most delicious, most requested favorite meals, and it's called sunset dip. I'm going to be doubling the batch today, so 2 pounds of meat, maybe almost 3. So 1.5 is like a typical to feed a family of 4 to 5. And we're gonna have it's beef, onion. We're doing 2 cans, refried beans. You can do any kind of refried beans you like. 2 little cans of tomato sauce, any brand, doesn't matter. We are doing about 2 to 3 cups of corn. This is frozen, but once it goes in, it will cook right up, and you will learn and see all of that. Cheese, and the one ingredient I'm not putting in today because 3 of my family members do not like olives. I love them, but I thought I would make it without. Normally I put in diced black olives, so that's an optional choice. I love it, but my family does not, most of them, so I leave it out. Anyways, let's get going. So you're going to preheat your pan. And so the first time I ever had this recipe, I think my mom made this for me. Man, my earliest memory, I was probably like 2 or 3, and I always loved chips. I love chips. I'm a huge chip connoisseur, and my favorite chip to eat this dip with is potato chips. Not tortilla chips, potato chips. So, heating this up, just gonna dump it right in the pan, like so. Gonna let that heat up and brown, and then in the meantime I'm going to dice up an onion. All right, so 1 large to medium sized onion will do, and that's going to go with the meat as it's browning to give it nice flavor. But this dip is so easy and quick to make, and it's also been kind of a family staple as a meal, which has been really, it's just nice and easy. But in honor of, well, it's Super Bowl today, so I'm late in making this, so anyone can make this at any time. But it's such a great addition to any sort of party or event. If you get invited to go somewhere and you don't want to show up empty-handed, sunset dip is sure to be a hit. I've brought it to many parties, and everyone kind of is like, what is this? Because it doesn't necessarily look pretty, but it tastes amazing. So we're going to dice up the onion nice and small as I can anyway. Let's see how many tears I get away with not getting. Okay. So whatever size chunks you want, I like to go a little bit smaller so that the onion bits blend in with the meat as it's browning. Because eventually everything is going to be mixed all together into this big pan right here. And then right before it's all done, you're going to transfer it into another pot, and we'll put it in the oven for about 15 minutes and let the cheese and everything just kind of, all the flavors marinate together, which is really nice to get everything, you know, it's like when you make soup, and soup is sometimes, well, most times I think, better the next day. So we've got our onion nice and diced. Ooh, I'm shocked I don't have watery eyes. Wow, shocking. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead. Let's see. You definitely want to break everything up so it gets nice and ground up. And I'm going to go ahead and put the onions in, like so. you're just gonna let that cook. Let the onions and the meat get brown. We have our beef and onions. Again, you can do this with ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you like. I have not tried this in a vegetarian meat form. I like meat, so, but I'd be interested if someone did try it in a vegetarian, like a vegan form. I'd be interested to see how actually it tasted. Maybe one of these days I'll try it, but until then, I really love meat. So I'm gonna let this cook. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit and let that cook. And then, in the meantime, I'm gonna open my cans and get everything prepped because it's a pretty simple dish and it doesn't take too long to make. The longest process is honestly just browning your meat and opening up some cans, which I love. So when you're a busy parent or if you just have a lot going on, it's just nice to be able to whip something up really quick and you know it's gonna be delicious and everyone will be happy and satisfied. So I love that when I am cooking and making recipes that I know everyone will love, because as a mother, there's nothing worse than making something and then having your kids be like, oh, I don't know, I'm not hungry, I don't want this. And it's been years since my kids have ever said that to me. So I've mastered many hours in the kitchen having fun, coming up with great recipes for my family. So opening these up, just gonna set them aside. And I'll wash this bowl. I had the meat in it. And then, just to save some time, I can get everything in here, into the bowl. Also, one of my favorite things about this recipe in particular is it holds well. So if you make a big batch, it actually freezes well. I made this for my daughter one time when I went out of town and she was home hanging out with our dog, and I put some in the fridge and I had put some in the freezer and it heats up just perfectly fine. So that's always nice as well. I like having things pre-made, ready to go, stuff that's healthy that I know what's inside of it for the most part. Okay. So if you guys have like your favorite childhood recipe, I'd love for you to comment below and tell me what it is. This is definitely mine. Every time I've given this recipe to friends, they always send me pictures when they've made it saying, I've got my sunset dip, Jayla. And I love that. So if you guys do make this recipe, please share with me what you think. You know, tag me, send me a picture. However, I would love to know that you are enjoying stuff that I'm sharing with you. There we go. All right, canned beans. Okay. All right, check on the meat. Is starting to get brown. Coming right along, I'm going to sprinkle in some salt and pepper. You can do that to taste, so it's whatever your preference is. Again, a lot of the recipes that I'm going to share with you guys will be all up to your preference and taste, what you like. Spicy, you can add little, more. You could even make this spicy. One time I did add jalapeno peppers to it and I loved it. But today I'm just going to keep it nice and mild. Taking this out to my mom and dad's house to eat dinner with them. I'm just gonna cover it for a few minutes. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a clean as I go kind of a cook. I can't stand messes, so I'm gonna just wash this really quick. I always feel like as you clean while you're cooking, then when you're done cooking, you're ready to eat. And then you don't have to clean anything up, and it's just fabulous that way. All right, so again, corn, we've got our beans and our cheese. So now what we're gonna do is this. It's looking pretty good. Let's give it a couple more minutes here, just so it's nice and brown. Okay, so nice and browned. And now we're going to add our refried beans, nice and slow, so it doesn't splatter on you. And you're just gonna blend that in, kind of mush it all together. Once the beans get warm, they blend right in, and it doesn't take too long. All right, that's mixing up quite nice. Telling you, so it doesn't look that pretty, but it's gonna taste good. All right, so now I'm going to add 2 cans of tomato sauce, just like so. And give that a stir. It'll give it a nice red base. And I'm going to turn the heat down. So now that my meat is browned, onions are cooked, and everything is blending nicely together. And then I'm going to kind of form a little bit of a circle, a little hole in the middle, like so, if you can see. And then I'm going to add the corn. So really simple. So I like to say this has the basic food groups that you need, all the nutritional value. You have your protein, your legumes, and you've got some veggies in there. You got your tomato sauce, your corn, onions. I count it all. Okay, I'm going to do some salt and a little bit of pepper. Again, salt and pepper to taste, however you like. I always go light on any salt that I'm using when I'm cooking. Everyone has their own salt preference level of what they like and don't like. So, I'll do that. Turn it down a little bit more. And switching spoons. There we go. And this is looking pretty ready to go. So now, what I'll be doing is put my oven on bake. I'm going to do 400 and for about 15 minutes. So this is the pot that I'm going to use to take everything to my folks' house. Okay. And voila, sunset dip. We're gonna put everything in here. I'm just using this dish that I will transport when we drive to my mom and dad's house for dinner tonight. This is my meal contribution. And my mom was so excited when I told her that I was making this and bringing it over. So definitely a family favorite, and I love that my mom taught me this so many years ago, and now I get to make it for her. That full circle comes back around. And any leftovers, like I said, you can freeze. Most stuff freezes well up to 6 months, depends on your freezer situation. All right, get in there. Look at that. Absolute pure goodness. Okay, so I'm going to put some cheese on top right here, and then I'm going to give it a little stir just so the cheese gets in there, so when you take your chip and you dip it, you get nice and cheesy. So good. You can use any cheese you like. This is just an Italian blend. Traditionally, how I learned it, it was Monterey Jack cheese. Has a little bit of a heat kick to it, which I love. I just didn't have that in my fridge today, so I'm just using what I had. You can use mozzarella. You could use Parmesan if you wanted, any kind of a cheese, but see how it's giving a little bit of a stringy, cheesy, yummy flavor here going. And then I'm going to put the rest right on top, like this. And then I'm closing the lid, and I'm going to put this blue pot in the oven for about 15 minutes. And I'm going to let the cheese melt and get really everything just to marinate together. Okay. Taste test, because I didn't taste it. Shocking. Normally I do, so let's give it a whirl. Hopefully it's good, because I already put it in the oven. It's so good. This is delicious. It's warm. Kind of looks like dog food out of a can, but it's delicious, easy snack, dinner, meal, whatever you want to do. And it's so easy to just whip it up. What was this, less than maybe 10 minutes? Prepare it, put it in a dish that you can travel and take with you if you're going somewhere, or just keep in the fridge, and then you can pop it back in the oven when you get off of work, and it heats up in about 30 minutes for your family, and you have a meal. So it's great. Yum. This is so good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Time's up. I'm going to pull the dip out so you can see. Oh, that heat feels good. I'm just gonna pretend I'm somewhere warm. All right, so voila. Let me tilt this so you can see. But it's piping hot. It's got melted cheese, corn, refried beans, beef, onions, and a bit of tomato sauce, salt and pepper, and you have sunset dip. I hope you enjoy. I hope you really try this, and when you do make it, please let me know how it tastes, if you love it, if your family loves it, and I really hope that it becomes a new staple in your household. And enjoy. Thank you for watching. Yum. Mm-mm-mm.